Okay, Mrs. Stacie Swanstrom. Did I say that right?
Yep.
I got to say, you got a hell of a resume here, Stacie.
Thank you.
Honestly, probably the most impressive resume I've ever read, interviewing people or doing the podcast or anything. It's very impressive.
It.
So, I kind of want to do an introduction. So, you are currently the Chief Product and Marketing Officer at Pico, which is a financial technology services company.
Yes.
And it's a big company.
Well, we don't consider it that big, but
Okay.
In the scheme of things, it probably is bigger than some. So
Yeah.
we're a privately held company or a financial technology company, so I can't really say the revenue, but it's in the hundreds of millions. We have less than 500 employees.
Okay.
And I think we have 19 offices globally. So we basically serve like really large top-tier banks, global banks, I should say, hedge funds, market makers. Like, we provide trading technology in the most simplest terms to those clients.
Okay, and so it's a global company.
Yes.
And about 500 employees.
Yes.
And over $100 million in revenue.
Yes.
Yeah, I would consider that a big company.
Okay.
Compared to kind of what we do. I mean, maybe not in your world. It's not the biggest, but it's definitely impressive for sure.
Well,
so, as the Chief Product and Marketing Officer, what's your role there, and kind of what do you do?
Yeah, so my job is to basically assist the CEO in running the businesses. So we have three main product verticals. One is we call services. It's basically where we sell infrastructure and connectivity to our clients. So that's, servers, switches, hosting, data center kind of stuff, and connecting all the players, so our clients to clients.
Do you sell the hardware or the software, the security?
We do.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, we sell the hardware. We'll lease it or sell it. And then we have two other verticals, which are software verticals. And so that is, we'll resell exchange data, market data to these clients. And we have tools around market data and how they use market data in their trading systems. So we're all part of like the trading stack, starting at the most foundational with the servers, switches, and hosting, and then the software that sits on it. And then our third vertical is really like a monitoring and analytics. So we monitor basically the trading stack to see whether it's performing, whether it's slowing down, whether latency is an issue. So when our clients are trying to get to the market, they want to know how fast they're getting there. So yeah,
and that's like speed as in seconds or minutes or something, right? Like
yeah, we're in nanoseconds now.
Nanoseconds.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is wild.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot since actually I've been in the business since the 90s.
Yeah.
And people used to type on their keyboard and everything, and then pretty soon, everything's sort of electronified even more. I mean, Nasdaq, I worked for Nasdaq for almost 27 years, so that was always electronic, but it moved away from just people typing things in and using function keys into it all being.
So you've seen that evolve dramatically with technology.
Oh, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
And the volumes and just because obviously when it's all electronified, you can go a lot faster. You can trade a lot more.
Sure. So let me finish the resume real quick, and then we'll jump back into that. So prior to this position, you were Executive Vice President at Nasdaq.
Yes.
That's a big position there. So a little bit of how did you get there? How did you work your way up to that? What did you do there?
That's a long story because I was there for almost 27 years, and so that was the last 4 years of my job. But essentially, that was running, we called it corporate solutions, and that was providing intelligence and communications products to listed companies. So not just NASDAQ listed companies, but companies that were listed on other exchanges too, mostly public companies. We had 17,000 clients. We had, I think there were 1,500 people on my team in 30 countries, and we were about $400 million in revenue when I first stepped into that role. So, so that was a culmination of a lot of different things that I had done there, and it was a very interesting sort of move around the organization. I worked in a lot of different roles before I got there.
Yeah. So how long were you the Executive Vice President?
4 years.
For 4 years.
Yes.
And kind of tying in the management aspect of that, how many people were you managing? How many teams?
So I had about 1,500 people on my team, but probably around 8 direct reports. I always feel like, I think the 6 to 8 number is usually the right number, depending on what kind of business you're in and what you're trying to accomplish. You can always do more. It just means people get less attention.
And you have to have, and which I want to get into that too with managing people and teams and what metrics you're tracking, like how you request reports from people and all that stuff. Because when you get to that scale, I mean, that's just, it has to be done a certain way, or else it doesn't all flow, like.
It does. And that actually was quite a transition for me, because my previous role there was running our global access to our markets, which was still a very large business. It was about a $250 million business. However, I think my team might have been 50 people at the most. And so there was a lot of sort of cross-functional work in the organization. So a lot of people worked with us, but they didn't technically report to me. So communicating with 50 people what your vision is, what the goals are, and just being really consistent about that is very different than 1,500 people around the world. So I definitely had to do some step back a little bit and think about, how are these 1,500 people going to know what are our goals, right? What are the expectations?
That's hard enough to do with my company's about 30 people. It's hard to do it with 30.
Right. Right.
So I can't imagine doing it with 1,500.
Right. What I learned was, I think it's important to write it down, to be consistent, to get in front of them regularly and remind them, because people need to hear things often. They say at least 3 times to remember them. So setting those goals, setting those expectations. And so I would just do these monthly town halls or roundups or whatever you want to call them. Sometimes I call them a huddle, even though it was a lot of people. And just go through all that. What are, let's talk about our goals. Let's talk about, where are we relative to the goals? It's really important for people to understand where they fit in the picture. So if your directs and their directs can't cascade down sort of their goals in a really, solid way where people understand where they fit in the picture and how they can contribute to those goals. It didn't matter, when I was at Nasdaq, it didn't matter what level I was. If I didn't understand where the CEO said that we were going and where I fit in the picture on that, a lot of times those projects or those things weren't that successful. And it was very interesting. That's what I learned over the years. I never told the CEO that, but, but that's kind of the way. But I did take that and realize that I've got to make sure that everybody down the line understands what they're doing, and that needs to come from me.
And so in a small organization like mine, I'm at the top, right? And I have to have a vision, one that's big enough for everybody to succeed, right? And to meet their personal goals. Right. Because when you start hiring good people, motivated people, and you're a small local contractor with not sharing a vision, don't really have any intention on growing, or then people, it's kind of like a stalemate. It's well, shit, why,
That's exactly
how
right.
am I going to work here for 10 years or 15 years?
That's exactly right.
So when you start hiring good and motivated people, you got to have a vision big enough that where they can say, okay, well, shit, if I can make my part of this work, we're going to grow this thing, and everybody makes more money. We're good.
And they need to be, specifically know what their KPIs are that feed your ultimate goals, right? So at the top, you're focused on all financial. And our executive team, we have all financial goals. We don't even have any non-financial goals. People sort of at the next level may have some non-financial goals, right? There's things you need to do that are really important for the business that may not be financial in nature. But what we always tried to do is keep things as financial as possible, because most things do have an ROI on them. People just don't realize that they have an ROI on them. And that was always one of my question. I had 3 main things that, I always sort of kept in my mind. Just have goals and know where you want to go. Make the most of every position, no matter where you are in the organization. And the third one was around know what your ROI is. And a lot of people don't think about that.
So Ryan downstairs, he's my new sales manager, right?
Okay.
He's very new to the position. And I told him hey man, this is what I'm tracking. I need this report every week on this day at this time. This is how your performance is being tracked. I said, it's your job now to build a team to help you meet these goals.
That's right.
I said, don't go out and just hire 8 people and not tell me about it. We'll talk through it. But like I need you to be the brains behind it to figure out how to build this team to meet these goals that I'm asking you to meet. And then it's my job then to relay if he's meeting those, like his metrics and he's doing his job well, then I got to make sure my operations side is keeping up and growing enough to be able to handle the new business that he's developing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way to scale a business. Is just you have to get good people that understand what their role is in the organization and let them roll with it and do it well. And I tell people all the time, I have a hard time when I hire somebody to do a job like that I feel like I could do better than them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, man, I want you to like teach me shit. Like teach me how to do this. Teach me what I need to be tracking. Like that's what I need you here for, you know?
Yeah. I mean, my goal has always been to hire smarter people than I am. Yeah. I feel like I've successfully done that. I try to be a continuous learner, which it seems like you are too, which is cool, which will help you grow with your business and grow with every role. But I agree. I mean, you've got to lay out expectations, stick with the expectations, be consistent, and hold people accountable. I mean, that's the key. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this is underrated. I always say this and people kind of laugh or just, you know, shrug it off, but you got to also have fun. So once you get all the financial and the business pieces in place and everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing, you want to have fun in the process. You're at work for a long time every day, right? Like at least a third of your day.
Doesn't have to be measurable, right?
Right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, like you just want to build some camaraderie with the people so that they want to please you. They want to do a good job. I have a great group of people that actually I hired at Pico that I used to work at Nasdaq with, and they're awesome, right? Mm-hmm. And why would they come to a small company and work with me at a small company? And there's small company challenges, and because I've taken care of them. We align our interests, which is...
Plus, it could be a challenge for them. It's like, look, come work with me, help me grow this thing. This is where I want to be in this amount of time. Let's make it happen.
Right.
You know? And then, because good, smart people, motivated people want a challenge in front of them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to be problem solving and trying to figure shit out. Like, they don't want to come to work for 8 hours and just be like, sitting at a desk with nothing to do, you know, like.
I totally agree. Well, they definitely are not sitting at a desk with nothing to do.
Right. Yeah. No, 100%.
We're making sure that doesn't happen. But yeah, we, you know, it's different challenges. You know, we work together in that, in one of the business, before my last at Nasdaq, they went with me to the bigger business and my CEO let them come, which was great. And then, they came with me to this. So, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're cursing me sometimes, but if you can sort of get your goals, financial goals aligned with their financial goals, as you said before, and also help them have a little fun in the process, be compassionate, be a good leader, people will want to work with you.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. And it sounds like you got a good thing going though, and it sounds like you're a good leader because you got people to come follow you to a new place to help you build something. So that's great.
Well, I try.
And then you're also on the advisory board at the College of Business and Economics at Towson.
I'm not anymore.
Oh,
I did that while I was retired. When I thought I was retired from, I left Nasdaq. I retired. But I've since failed that since, as you noted, I'm at Pico now. But during that time, I thought it would be really fun to sort of go back to my alma mater. I was already a donor, so they were asking me to join the board. I really didn't have time to do that before then, so I joined the board. And it was really interesting to sort of see how higher education works. And and it was interesting. I got to mentor people, and there was a lot of fun things around it.
I know the universities and like higher education's taken like a lot of heat in the last 5 years, I guess, 10 years. The little peek on the inside that you got of it, I mean, do you think it's still a lot of value in the higher education stuff, or?
I think there's value in higher education. I don't think it's for everyone, and I do think that higher education needs to adjust. When universities and colleges were originally sort of started, it was for rich people to send their kids to sort of get worldly. And it's changed a lot. I mean, these are, colleges now are the place where you need to get some experience and learn about real world things. I mean, philosophy is great, but is it going to help you in your job?
Right.
And I think that's what companies are realizing is that, kids come out with, what are they going to contribute? They don't even know how to operate in a work environment, unless they've had an internship.
Yeah.
They really just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I had a lot of things that I thought that we should be considering, at Towson. I had a lot of ideas around that, but it felt a little stuck while I was there, honestly.
Okay.
Just that they were gonna keep doing the same thing, and seems to be working, which is great. But I do think there's room for, changing the way. The other thing is, there were some really great opportunities where, at least at Towson, they had some challenges where, whether it was marketing, they wanted to do more marketing or different things. You've got like 5,000 marketing students. So it's a great opportunity to build it into the curriculum and get what you need out of it, right? And things like that where I think you could sort of do more practical things with the people that you have, and even if they're a little bit self-serving. But it was interesting. My goal was to actually become a professor.
I said that for a long time too.
Yeah.
I went to Salisbury, and I went through college, no problem. I had a great time. I had no regrets going to college. I got my bachelor's, and it was all fun. And the most I've taken out of it is just the networking aspect of it. Yeah. Because even now, 12, 15 years later, it's like you still come across people, or you see people you graduated college with, and they're in a related field, and then you can just network, and you got something in common.
Yep.
But being a professor, I said that when I was there, them guys got the job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great job. You get tenured. You don't have to worry about anything. But I'm under-credentialed to be a professor. I need a few more degrees if I was going to do that. And in the business schools, because I was a business major, and since I've been in business, the ACSB is their accreditation that the business schools get, and they don't like adjunct professors. Lots of adjunct professors. So there's very few that they can actually, they can hire. So it's very limited. But again, to me, that's another sort of area that's like you have somebody who's been in the business for 27 years. It's a great opportunity to learn from that person. So do you want just an academic, or do you want someone who's actually experienced?
Actually done it? Yeah.
So
I think that's what it needs more of, to be honest. It's just people that have done it and proven that they've had a solid, successful career, and then they can really share.
Those were some of my best professors. I don't know about you, if you had any that were, that had practically been in the field. Mm-hmm. What did you major in?
I was an environmental major. Okay. And it actually, I do a lot of environmental construction work, like the stormwater management stuff, and that's how I started in construction after graduation, and then I started seeing all of the environmental regulation and what they make you do on job sites. So I was like, well, shit, the experience in the field plus my education all kind of ties together, and that's how I got started. Nice. So I can't say that I haven't used my education at all. Right. It definitely comes in handy for sure.
Did you have any professors that were actually had done?
Yeah, and I like the older guys that had been in the field. They're like a little less refined, like a little more in your face. Like this is. I got along with those guys a lot better. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. When I was on the board, I would go back to speak in some of the business classes, that was kind of fun. Yeah, I did. A lot less pressure though.
A few years ago, I got invited back to Salisbury to talk to the environmental program about what I do and just opportunities in the construction industry with the environmental stuff, and in Maryland with the whole Chesapeake Bay regulation. There is a lot of opportunities. Yeah. But it was cool that they invited me back to speak. And honestly, I tell my wife all the time, that's when I felt old. It's I went back to the college campus, and I was like, holy shit, everybody here looks young. Yeah. So.
Exactly. Well, you can imagine how I felt then when I went back, because I'm definitely super old. But it's got such a great vibe, and I had so much fun there. And, it was a great foundation for my career. And I worked with a lot of very educated, private school colleagues. Right. And
Ivy League type people.
Yep. Yeah. And so I felt proud to have been able to have the career that I had, considering I went to a state school. It was a good one.
No doubt. You're repping
Tigers.
Towson proud. Yeah.
That's right.
Good. Yeah, Carly, my wife, she's a Towson graduate also.
Nice.
Yeah. No, that's
Tigers.
that's great. Let's talk about building a sales and a marketing team. So obviously you've had a lot of success in that with large scale teams. What do you, I mean, how important is it to have like a motivated team, whether that's setting big goals and like big problems that they're trying to solve, or if it's financially commission based or whatever? Like how have you kind of found the best way to grow and scale like the marketing side of a business? It sounds like you've got a lot of experience doing that.
I do. I have a pretty good amount of experience on that. I would say just real quick on the sales side versus the marketing side and motivated people. On the sales side, and I only like technically owned sales in my last role at Nasdaq, and it was I think 400 salespeople, but half of them, if I remember correctly, were account managers. So we had hunters and farmers. Those are corporate athletes, and the psychology and the motivation and all that are like super critical.
I like
to
the
them
hunter-farmer
performing.
analogy. I like that.
Yeah. So, you know, some of them were getting more business out of who we had, and some of them were going out and hunting new logos.
Yeah.
And so there it's incredibly important. And recently, last summer, for about 6 months, we had someone leave Pico, and so I stepped in to take on partially sales. The sales team was a little sort of downtrodden, and so my goal was really to take them and get them pumped up, and I did it through a lot of cheesy ways, and you know, and they dealt with my approach, and it was fun. I mean, I just tried to have fun with it all, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we had our best, like we had a record quarter. So it just goes to show that psychology is really important. In terms of marketing, you know, it's interesting. At Nasdaq, we had a really big marketing team, and at Pico, we have a really small marketing team. And
when you say small, what do you mean?
So for a couple $100 million company, we have 3 people in marketing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is small relative to the size, yeah.
Yeah, and we do contract out. So we contract some specialized functions out, like PR, some of our sales operations, so, you know, helping us with our CRM because it's super sophisticated, and making sure that when a lead comes in, we can show it as when it gets to closed won or closed loss, that we can tell.
Yeah. And you're tracking closing rates and everything else?
Yes.
Do you track that as a team or individual account managers or salesmen, or?
We do it by salesman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Because that's the next point I wanted to touch on, is after you build the team, like what metrics do you track to hold them accountable to their goals? And then do the metrics change as you scale? You know?
Yes. So for sales or marketing, or
I guess both.
Product people.
like in my world, like we're small enough where sales and marketing is kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like the marketing lead generation is directly correlated to how well the sales are going. Yep. And you know, it's a constant thing. The salesmen are just like, well, we don't have enough leads coming in. You know, so it's like, and then when you have enough leads coming in, like, well, the leads are bullshit. They're no good.
Right.
You know, so then it's back to me to try to navigate that conversation.
So, I mean, one of the things to consider, and hopefully your sales manager, Ryan, doesn't kill me, but, you know, what is the outbound motion also? So you've got the lead gen coming in as your inbound motion, but what is the salespeople's outbound motion? So when I think, and things do always change. So for salespeople, it just depends where you are and what your pain points are in terms of how you set the KPIs and the comp, right? So if you want your salespeople to do more outbound motion to go get you sales, how do you want to incentivize them to do that? So it's like they're sort of commingled or interrelated, right? And then what do you expect your conversion rates to be? What are they doing to rehash when it's a closed loss? Like, so how much time are you having them spend on that? Like, so there's just all these pieces to the sales cycle, whether it's at the beginning or in the middle, or you've lost it, won it even. So, right, like you can rehash closed wins also, see how things are going. Yeah. And if you have any other products that can appeal to you know, those clients. On the marketing side, marketing is a little bit different. and I think you're outsourcing a lot of yours right now, right?
Correct, yep.
So our KPIs for marketing and motivating them is a little bit different. Like, I think marketing can be a really fun part of an organization. They should be your fun people, your creative people, your all of that stuff. And so setting KPIs for them is pretty specific. I mean, they've got to bring in leads. They've got to, all of those things that
so
you're
the
working
main
with their
KPI,
contractor.
like I've recently had these conversations. And like the metric that I'm tracking on the marketing side is really the only thing I'm interested in is lead generation. Like, and then the cost per lead that's coming in. And then if it's scalable. So like if I give you more money over the next 2 or 3 years, does my cost per lead go down? The more leads that you're getting me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to educate myself on that because I'm not a marketing major, and that's why talking to somebody like you is so great. And I put a lot of faith into the people that I hire to do that, and then all I do is just meet with them and try to hold them accountable to what I need as a customer of theirs. But
how are they generating your leads?
It's all through just digital marketing, so social medias. Google SEO, sponsored paid ads out there, and then we target different zip codes, different demographics, and I kind of help them establish like the areas that we want to spend money in. And
do you have a website?
I do. Yep.
Do you track it all? How many people are coming? Is that a KPI for them at all?
So we track people coming to the website, and then even how long they stay on the website, how engaged they are. But like my argument is like that's cool. Like if I'm able to attract people to the website, but they don't end up asking, requesting a meeting to get an estimate on anything, it really doesn't do anything for me.
Right. So then you have to sort of back it up a little bit. So the question is like, when you're working with marketers, whether they are full time for you or they're contracted, the question is why aren't those converting? And is there something different that should be happening with your website, right? Is it set up correctly? Are they getting the information they need if they're popping on and popping off versus they stayed there but they still didn't convert? Like, why didn't they convert? So sometimes you have to ask those questions, and if they're handling all of that, then they're in control of all of those pieces and why they aren't converting.
Yep.
The other thing that's important is just the reason I asked about the website is because if you decide that you want to take it in-house at some point or you want to change sort of contract, who you're contracting with, then it's important that your website is still functioning well without them, right? That there's enough driving there, that it's functioning correctly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an important component that you would keep.
Correct.
As part of your DNA that you want to be awesome.
Able to take control back of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's part of the hard part is when I've outsourced everything, it's hard to sort of decouple it because they're kind of doing all of it. And
as a small business, I mean, I've come across that just when you lose people too, right? Because you'll have a guy that'll take something on like creating an account for like to bid Anne Arundel County contracts.
Right.
Well, he leaves, and then we like, okay, well, now I don't even know the login information to do that.
Right.
Like, more or less the whole process of doing it.
Right.
So then you're kind of back to square one trying to figure it out. But that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like I do that with everything that I sub out or contract out, or like you have to stay relevant enough in it to know the conversation, be able to hold people accountable.
Right.
And to make sure that it can run even if you decide to make a change down the road.
Right.
I can't imagine doing that on a large scale.
You just need a big team of people. And that's why, we've wanted, at Pico, we definitely see an opportunity to increase our marketing spend and what that will do for us because we're very organic now and how we do it. Our CEO is amazing, like salesman, so he uses his Rolodex. We use all of our Rolodex too. So not sure if that's something that you're doing, just making sure everybody in your company is working for you no matter what role they're in.
And like using your personal network.
Yeah, everyone's personal network.
Yeah, right.
So it doesn't matter what role they're in. If they're excavating, do you want to educate them enough on what to say to their friends and have some business cards? And I feel
like the construction world definitely lacks in that.
Yeah.
because I know we're not using everybody in the field that I have. I'm not utilizing their personal networks to market or gain more business.
And it's different, right? It's probably
Yeah.
not going to be like LinkedIn, like my colleagues, but they have a network. So the question is, how do you incentivize them to bring business to you through their network? Because everyone knows somebody interesting or lots of interesting people and has connections into commercial and then residential and all of that. So it's just an interesting way to think through, like, you know, and then how do you incentivize them? Do you give them like, you know, a referral fee or something, and, you know, or how do you make them feel special? Like, who knows? I don't know if people in the field get that much attention.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, financial incentive is the best way to do that.
Exactly.
If they can make a few $100 getting a referral, like, that's how they're going to do it, you know?
Exactly.
So go back to, like, what you said about increasing your marketing spend, like your budget. Is there a certain rule of thumb of like a percentage of your annual revenue that you spend on marketing? Because I've heard a bunch of different things, anywhere from like 3 to 5%.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily spend that. I don't know if you should. I don't know if you should spend more on at certain times of the year, like when you're seasonal work. I don't know. Like how do you guys approach that?
So we are not. So it's 3 to 5 is right. Some will say 5 to 9. I mean, it's all over the place with what the industry averages are. We don't even spend like 1% on marketing, but we're underspending. I think you know that there's a lot more we can do for inbound. We're all mostly outbound. We do have plenty of leads that come in, but we are leveraging our sales teams and our networks, and so we're outbound.
So you have a lot of hunters.
Yes.
Out there trying to find new customers. You're not.
Or getting business from clients that we already have. We already have over 300 clients, so they're in there.
Getting referrals. Yeah.
And there they don't. Yeah, it's kind of referrals because there are different buyers within our clients, which makes it a little bit more complicated.
Yep.
But just even making sure that our clients know everything that we offer, because we have done a couple acquisitions since our early days. So in the last 5 years, we've done 2 acquisitions, which has changed our portfolio significantly.
Yeah.
And we're the market leader in those other software products, right? Yeah. So we started in the infrastructure and connectivity, and we added the software. Software's a lot higher margin, better business for us.
And it's recurring. Like when you sell the hardware for a data center, it's a one-time sale.
That's
maybe some replacement parts here and there. But the software thing is like just every month billing the same amount,
And we have a lot of reoccurring, actually, even within our infrastructure and connectivity business, because it's we've got connectivity, and we help them with the hosting and do things like that. So we do have a lot in that business also, but it's not like, it still takes people, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like software, which is a beautiful thing.
And I struggle too with, actually, Ryan and I just had this conversation yesterday, when to hire additional salesmen on your sales team. Like, because if you don't have enough leads to give them, it's like, okay, well, go find your own leads. But then it's like, well, if they fail at that, how long do you give them to start finding those leads?
Yeah.
Or do I just say, okay, well, I need to up my ad spend and try to get more leads in the door to feed my salesmen?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a management decision that I've struggled with a lot, and I feel like that's never ending.
Yeah, it's not going to end, and it's really, really hard. And I would say that it needs to be kind of a hybrid approach where they need an outbound motion as salespeople, like it is their job to find leads, and then you are also feeding them leads, which supplements their outbound motion. Yeah. But typically, I don't know. I mean, you know better than I do in the trades, but I mean, all the people that I know that own companies aren't feeding 100% of, the business that's being done through leads. It's just too incredibly expensive, and that's why you pay a salary, right? Yes. It might be a smaller percentage.
So we do base salary and then commission on sales.
Right.
So, and that's another thing is like the base salary can't be enough where anybody's comfortable just living off of that base.
That's right.
You got to keep them hungry and motivated to sell more.
That's right.
Which I think a lot of people that enjoy sales, they like that, And I've had guys approach me and say, dude, I don't want the base at all. Just give me give me another point on my commission, you know?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah.
it's good. Like, there's,
That's
like,
right.
I feel like those are the kind of people you want.
So in terms of hiring, back to your original question about when do you hire, we do it a little bit formulaic, where you take sort of what you want to grow year over year. And obviously, since we do have a reoccurring base, it's the percentage we want to grow and what percentage is going to come from sales, because obviously we have other levers that we can pull, whether it's renewals or price increases or things like that. So new sales. And we do it sort of formulaically, like what is the average deal size, what, you know, and what are we trying to get to? So if we divide that, is it realistic that one salesperson can actually do all that? Maybe not, maybe. Or, you know, okay, it looks like now we need 2 people. And then there's ramp time, right? And so what I've done over the years, which may just be like kind of a bigger company thing, but I mean, it would work for any size company, is I've tried to model it out. So if I think I'm going to hire a person or 2 people, I think about how long it's going to take them to ramp, because you got to build that in. Otherwise, if you're dividing it and expecting you're going to get them.
No, I mean, people are a liability before they become an asset.
That's right.
Sure. Yeah, there's training or like a learning curve, whatever you want to call it. They're not coming in and making you money on day one.
That's right.
You know.
And one of the things we haven't done as well in every region as we could is our onboarding. The onboarding and the training part is critical to success. Yeah. So, you know,
I've learned that one the hard way too. It's like you hire somebody that show up, you're like, all right, man, go sell shit. Like,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Right, and then they're burning your leads.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
You know, your cost to lead.
Yep.
And then that one's gone.
Yeah. No, so I learned that one, though. That was a couple years ago. Now I kind of have somewhat of a process when you bring people on.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so important, because a lot of times, like, it doesn't matter what size company, people don't have good onboarding plans.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to management, too, though. Like, in your role, if you hire somebody, like a direct report under you.
Right.
I mean, you need to feel obligated to onboard them the correct way.
Right.
You know, like, set them up for success on day one.
But you'd be surprised. I mean, people just sort of wing it a little bit. It's like you bring them on, and then you're like, yeah, I'm going to teach them. And it's a casual approach versus, you know, we've gotten.
So that happens in the corporate world too.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Good.
And so we've gotten a lot more.
Makes me feel better than
methodical about how we're onboarding people. Do we have an onboarding plan? What does the plan look like? Is it just a 2-week plan? Is it a 30-day plan? Is it a 60-day plan? Is it a 90-day plan? Where do they play into it? Where does, you know, the new hire play into it? So we're definitely trying to get a lot more structured around that. I mean, I know you consider us big, but we're still relatively, like, we're 15 years in, which is 15 years is a lot. But when you're growing really fast, sometimes you overlook those standard operating procedures in order to grow.
Yep.
And those are trade-offs, because eventually they come back to bite you, because you're not taking home as much as you could in P&L.
So that 100% kind of goes right into my next talking point. Scaling and growing revenue without doing it the correct way, where your profit margin is not scaling with it.
Yes.
And that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. We struggle with it. Like, you set revenue numbers, and you set your monthly quotas and your quarterly goals and everything, and you hire people to try to hit these revenue numbers.
Yeah.
And then when you succeed to hit the revenue number, but then you realize that, you know, at this point of the year in quarter 3 that, well, shit, the margin's not keeping up with the revenue. So why are we doing all this extra shit?
Right.
You know?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, how do you scale appropriately without sacrificing margin?
Yeah. So, well, the way that we do it and the way that I've tried to help my contractor friends do it is very similarly, actually. You've got to know what margin that you want to get to. And then there's gross margin, and then there's, like, sort of, you got your overhead too, right? So say you want.
We try to do everything based on net margin.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So that's even easier. So you basically you include the overhead in it.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that you've got to. We started getting really specific about list prices. What are the list prices? And let's document what those list prices are. That's a little bit harder sometimes in the contracting world, but there is probably some sort of formula to how you're pricing. We very closely now, we have a whole approval matrix for the discounting and what people are allowed to actually discount.
Right.
So now that we know what the list price, we know what the margin is, we know what we want to get to, right? And we know what the list price is. And then essentially we have very strong controls on the discounting. Other ways I've seen it done with contractors is to just start to put things in a spreadsheet and make sure you can see on the deal, like you don't give the salesperson complete carte blanche to do whatever discounting and estimating that they want to do.
That's how we do it. So, and I've found too that when you're hiring and firing and replacing your sales team, you got to kind of have just a standard operating procedure on how you price jobs, right?
Right.
And so that's what we did. Okay, a foreman costs us this much an hour, and then if you want to mark it up this much, okay, that's what we charge. And then it's a whole spreadsheet for the job of labor and material and equipment, and then you just at the end, that's what we want to mark it up. And then the salesman has the ability to kind of fluctuate those margins to try to make the sale, but we have a minimum that we won't go under. Where it gets hard is when you have a good salesman with not a lot of industry experience, and say he bids a job for a 40-hour work week, and it takes you 7 days.
Yeah.
So he had the margins on there correctly, but he messed up the hours.
Right.
It's like, shit, okay, now the margin's gone.
Right.
You know, so like you also have to do some training based, like in the field training to like kind of help them understand how long everything takes.
Yeah, that is tough, and that's sometimes we basically implemented a second eye on things just to make sure, because people can make mistakes all the time in our quoting system. They make mistakes all the time.
Yeah, which we do too. Like anything with a sale value over a certain, like over $10,000, it's like management has to review it before you send it out.
Right.
You know, so. Yeah.
Well, that should help. The other thing that we're looking at is whether we like incentivize based on margins more.
So hard to track.
It is so hard. Trust me.
Because I would love to do that too.
We looked at it last year. We weren't successful, but I know our CFO is definitely still has his eye on how do we actually do that. Yeah,
because my sales team's paid just commission off the top line, right?
Yeah.
Of just the sale price. And it's easy to track, and then it's on management to figure out if they're selling work that's profitable or not, you know. But I like the idea of giving them a higher percentage of the net margin on the job.
Yes.
But then it's just so much to try to track, especially what we do, where like you got one crew doing 3 or 4 jobs in a day, and then you have to go back and track the margin on each individual job for that crew. And I got 6, 7, 8 crews working.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible. It's too much paperwork.
Yeah, it is. That's definitely too much. Ours, we would probably take a little bit more of a simplistic approach, which is still hard, but we would have to automate something around looking at, it would have to tie into our CPQ, which is our quoting system, and it would have to look at our list price and the PIDs and the discounting and like basically calculate a margin off of it, which is really hard to do for us also, believe it or not, because we don't, not everything that we do is like if we're doing connectivity, you might have a line from me to you, but it could be a line that feeds into an exchange and a bunch of people are hanging off of it, right? And so those get really hard because if there's 10 people hanging off of it, it's a different margin than if one person, we'll say 3 clients are hanging off of it. So anyway, it's hard in every business. It'll be interesting to see if we get there, but you need some sort of incentive for them to care. Mm-hmm. Alignment with your goals it's always hard, but you got to figure out how to align everybody with your goals.
Yeah, I know. And that's what it all boils down to, is just communication on where the company needs to go for everybody here to be successful.
Right.
And then it's like, look, this is your role in that.
Right.
This is what I'm tracking on. This is how I need you to do it. Do your job well, Yeah. And it's hard to ask people to do their job well when they really don't know what they're supposed to be doing or what the goal is,
Well, it's always good to do a double check with the people. Like if you ever, I'm sure you get to talk to your people often. It's 30 people, right? Like
every day.
Yeah. What's your goal? Like now remind me, where do you fit in the picture? Like just see if they've actually, it's crystallized, like they know how they're driving revenue or they're driving whatever the KPI is.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting. When,
And it's fun too, because then you give them goals and then they get excited when they're doing well, Or if they're not doing well, if they're struggling, you got to be open to like, hey man, come talk to me. I'll help you. Like,
that's right.
Like that's what management's for, is like, if you're struggling with this for whatever reason, let's discuss it before it's just a complete failure, and then we'll work together to try to fix it.
Well, it feels like you're already way ahead of the game, just sort of setting goals and standard operating procedures. And I mean, I know a lot of business owners, and they're not that structured in their businesses. And I think
it's hard, right? Because I know that
hard.
I know that I should be thinking that way and like structuring it that way, but then it feels like I'm wasting my time when like there's other shit like in the field that actually generates revenue that could like solve a lot of my cash flow problem. Like it's like, dude, I could just go do that instead and not have all these bullshit problems that I currently have. But then it's like, okay, I got to let people do their job, hold them accountable to doing their job well, while I focus on doing this. And I don't know. It's a balancing act for sure.
Do you use ChatGPT yet?
Oh yeah.
That'll write your standard operating procedures for you.
So my guys downstairs, we started doing that a lot to send emails like on these commercial jobs. Like, believe it or not, like in construction, on commercial work, everybody communicates like they're a fucking lawyer. Yeah. After every meeting. Yeah. Or like they send a follow-up email, hey, per our conversation. It's like, dude, like the construction.
The GC will take you down if you're not careful. I think that's why everybody's gotten.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just like nothing's done on a handshake anymore.
No, not at all. I mean, that ended a long time ago. My mom was in commercial construction, and that definitely ended a long time ago. And you know, it's that's a completely different world, right?
It is, yeah.
Where they're holding your money, and you've got time frames, and
so we started dabbling in that in the last couple of years, and I don't know if that's the direction I want to go. Because it's not
big
fun.
bucks, right? But it's
big
a
bucks,
lot
but
of stress.
Low margin.
It's low margin, and
they don't value us as a contractor.
No, I mean people.
It's literally just low bid.
Yeah, people would pull up, working out of the back of their trucks for these major governments, you know, schools that they're building and all that, and they would work on change orders. And it just was very interesting, sort of hearing about how that business operated, and it just was, you know, and then they would lose, and you know they had the funds to be able to sort of bankroll it and be through it. So what happens? The GC has to go find somebody else, you know, and who wants to pick up a job that a janky out of the back of their truck contractor just did, right?
I know.
That's a lot of liability.
And we got into that world in the last 2 or 3 years chasing revenue goals, right? It's like, okay, cool. Well, we got a $250,000 job.
Yep.
Well, that GC dictates, you know, basically, I need you here this date. And, hey, can't work today, can't do this. And then it's just the emails and, like, just the lack of relationship there. And it's just, like, low-margin work. Nobody's enjoying what they do every day. Or, like, if I come to your house and do a job for you and we get along, it's a working relationship. You want me to do well. I want you to be happy with the product you get. Like, it's just a better environment. It
used to be that way, right? It used to be very relationship driven, and that's been a long time ago, probably 30, 40 years, 50 years ago. It was very relationship driven, and then it got just very cutthroat. So that world has changed a lot. I know people who play in that world, in the government world, and you know, in commercial contracting. And it can be big bucks. You can make a lot of money, but you got to get really big. You got to take a lot of risks. And
you got to be able to financially float a lot of money.
That's right. And, you know, I just think, you know, it seems like there's plenty of big fish. Now, there's not going to be a $250,000 job, but if you have premium products that you can sell, you know, people are dying for good work.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And the work's out there.
And it's better because, like, they appreciate what you're doing for them.
That's right.
You know,
and you have a real relationship.
World.
And now they're going to refer you to somebody else. Like, those commercial relationships don't work like that anymore. They're not going to refer you to someone else in most cases. Like, again, like you said, the bids rule, period. It doesn't matter even people submitting bids that know that they can't do it for that amount of money. They're just going to change order the heck out of people.
Oh, yeah.
So residential, I mean, to me, seems where it's at. Although I've seen people who appear like they're doing very, very well that are doing a lot of commercial work. So I don't know what their recipe for success is, but
I don't.
I've seen plenty of people go upside down.
So I do both. Like I do commercial, I do government work, I do residential work, and like we make money on commercial work, but it's not enjoyable.
Right.
Like I would much rather go to somebody's home and build them something that they can enjoy and they're happy about.
Right.
You know, it just makes your day-to-day better. Like you're not arguing all the time. You know,
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, so another issue that I think you guys would probably have similar to us is once you do figure it out, the marketing and the sales, and then that starts to scale, then you have a bottleneck on your operations side, actually being able to, I guess, do the work and like kind of perform on what was already sold. And then how do you manage that? I guess you're in a leadership role where you probably are in those conversations.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Okay, so my marketing and sales team exceeded expectations this quarter.
Yeah.
How are we ramping up to perform?
First of all, it's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, if your sales are exceeding the work that you can actually sort of put through your machine, I think that's a good problem to have. However, it does need to be solved, right? Because people...
It's a good problem, but it's still a problem.
It's a problem.
Right. Yeah.
Look, we solve those in different ways as they come up. We don't have like, okay, now we've got a backlog and delivery for this product, and like, so we've had to go at it at very, I would say, bespoke ways because it's all different, right? And a lot of times you can look at your processes. So we basically take a step back and look at our processes. Can we go faster? Does somebody actually have to be in the middle of this? Like, those are the kinds of things that we dissect and try to figure out how to get the machine to work more efficiently and to work more quickly.
Sure.
So we have the same problems, but we've just probably attacked it in a little bit of different ways because we've got engineers, right? How does product work with the engineers? And then, how do we actually deliver it out the back end to the client? So I just, hiring to do that is we typically try not to hire to solve for problems like that.
Yeah, right.
We just have to manage expectations with the clients, which is really, really hard.
Yeah, I got that same advice from a guy that manages, he's like the operations manager for a much larger contractor. He goes, dude, sell work until it becomes a problem. He goes, because you'll always figure it out.
Yeah.
He's like, so just keep selling until you can't figure it out.
That's the more solvable problem, right?
Yeah.
Like,
because on the other hand, it's okay. Well, I got this whole operations team over here. No work coming in.
That's right.
Like that's a bigger problem.
That's a way bigger problem.
Right.
So you always want to be flooding your operations, the operations side with work because you're head of operations and we'll figure it out. There's a solution. It may go slower, or you may get more efficient. Whatever, it's going to push you to get better. Yeah. And that's also a good thing.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely, but it's still an issue though. Like, because like we have that issue in the springtime, right? Like, you go all winter long and you're kind of just 35, 40-hour weeks, making sure the guys like aren't running through work too fast, no overtime's approved. Like, just get through February, and then spring comes and it's like wide open. Yeah. And then the problem switches to the other side. And then and then that's where I find myself constantly in my position now, just chasing problems, right? Putting out fires. Like, as soon as I figure out the operation side, get them straight. Okay, well, shit, now sales isn't keeping up, so let me go figure out what's going on here.
Well, everybody has the same problem, honestly. We have the same problem that you do, is that nothing is consistent.
Right.
The only thing that's consistent is inconsistency.
I know. Well, it's good to know, though, just to get feedback from a larger organization, somebody that manages all the people that you manage. And that's just what I've come to the realization. It never solves itself.
Right.
It's just that's my job now. Like that's what I deal with every day.
It is. That's my job. You know that from Conway Twitty?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yep, that's right.
It is. It is a problem solver. I say I'm a high-paid babysitter because really I just go from thing to thing, and I'm just constantly trying to put out fires. Maybe I should be a fireman. Babysitter sounds like derogatory.
Yeah.
Maybe cut that part out.
Like putting out fires is how I describe my job now. And it sucks. It's really a bad job to have because, like, if something goes well, I'm not part of that conversation most of the time. It's like a very short conversation, like, cool.
Right.
That went good. That's cool.
Right.
But then it's over, and then you just go focus on the problem.
We do the same thing. I think one of the things that businesses don't do well is celebrate your wins. You literally are always going to the next fire, and you're always solving the next fire.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that everybody can do better, and I know we can definitely do a better job at that. It's just, I was talking to one of my colleagues earlier on my team, and she said, we should probably, we've been here for over 3 years now. We should do a look back. Let's look back on the last 3 years and think about what we've accomplished. And it's so true. Like, every year we do that, but we haven't really gone back and said, remember what life was like when we first, arrived, and like, we've done all these amazing things. So don't let all the fires and the smoke sort of get in your eyes and choke you up. Like, remember what good is going, what good there is. So
yeah, no, I like that. That's good advice.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still working on it too. So
yeah, I know, because you feel like you're not doing anything if you're just celebrating what's already done.
Yeah. But it's something. It does signal that this went really well, and you are going to celebrate when things go well, right? And people feel good when you're celebrating. And it's part of people wanting to be somewhere versus like, I've had bosses that they just like are constantly like on the fires and constantly like pummeling you, and you need to feel good sometimes, and even if it's a small win, it's like, you know what, you did that like really well. This was our challenge, and like sometimes we highlight those in our firm-wide calls and say, here's some examples of things that like we did really well. We don't consistently do that, but like we do some of that.
Yeah.
And I think it highlights to people like, oh, if I figure this out or if I do this better, like, okay, maybe I'll be highlighted in the firm-wide call. Like people like, people are incentivized in different ways. Some people are just financially incentivized. Some people like the recognition. Some people like both. Like you've got to figure out what drives people.
Yeah, and that's another thing is like, even in my small organization, you still play people's personalities a lot.
Yes.
Like some guys don't give a shit if you tell them good job.
Yeah.
Some guys, that's what they want. They want a pat on the back, so you try to do that with a little different for everybody. And, in a small business, you learn how everybody operates and what motivates them. So
it's the same way in my work too. I mean, everybody is motivated differently. So and they also have, they went through years where they were doing all these personality tests like the Myers-Briggs and all these other things, and to figure out how people like tick. It's not just like what motivates them, but really how they tick and how to really get the most out of people. I feel like that's fallen off a bit, which I'm kind of happy about, but it is true. Psychologically, people just operate differently.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And as a manager, you got to be able to navigate that.
That's right.
Well, cool. Well, Stacie, I really appreciate you agreeing to do this. I think it was a good conversation.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem, and hopefully we can stay in touch. You definitely have a lot of good advice. If I could run problems and ideas by you, that'd be great.
Awesome. That would be great. I'd enjoy that.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, and we'll keep talking.